Hey guys, Colton Lindbergh here with eXp Realty. This video we're going to look at a market update for the city of Long Beach. We're going to be looking at average sales price, median sales price, percentage of original list price. That's actually one of my favorite numbers. We're also looking at days on market and then months of supply, as well as the new listings we have coming up here in Long Beach. So we're going to first start off with the average sales price. Where is it? There it is. Average sales price is 1.152. So we're looking just over 1.1, and this is actually up 7% from last month. These numbers come out on a monthly basis, so it's really good to stay informed on what's going on and what might happen in the future. Now, we are coming out of summer, so technically we see a slight drop going into the winter months, and especially in August, when kids are starting to go back to school. Not a lot of people want to be moving, that kind of thing. So I do predict that the sales price might come down a little bit, just slightly, just to match with demand. So keep that in mind when you think about selling your property, that trying to hit those peak seasons is good for the amount of people you might have, but it also comes with a negative amount of competition. So it's kind of a balancing act here, whether you decide to, if you're deciding to sell between a peak season when there's a lot of people out, or a slightly slower season when there's not a lot of competition. Thinking about buying, we're coming into a good buying season. Again, like I said, there's not going to be a whole lot of competition in terms of people trying to buy during the middle of the school year, or at the beginning of a school year, I should say. And then so there might be an advantage in that. We're also going to look at days on market, and that will give us a really good idea for both buyers and sellers on what the market's doing. So that being said, currently in days on market are 22 days in Long Beach. That's the average days on market. That's up a significant amount from last month and even months prior. We're seeing that days on market are starting to creep up. Again, also indicating that we're kind of coming into a lull. So for buyers, that's a potential opportunity for you guys to find a property that's been sitting on the market for longer and get a good deal. And for sellers, what it really comes down to is making sure that your property is marketed correctly and blasted out to as many people as possible to try to keep these days on market for you guys low. That way so you can get the sales price that you're actually asking for. Okay, so now we're going to look at the percentage of original list price. And original list price basically means if I list my home for $1 million, what am I going to get at the end of the day? Or if I'm buying a house and it's listed for $1 million, what am I going to be paying at the end of the day? Right? So if it's at 100%, you'd be paying 100% of the list price, and then sellers are going to be getting 100% of the list price. Right now, we're looking at just a touch over 100%, 100.2%. So you might expect to pay $2,000 over the asking price if that was $1 million. Same thing goes to sellers. Now, again, this is median and average, so we kind of get an idea of, if a good quality house comes up, what am I going to be thinking about paying? Keep in mind, that's 22 days that we just looked at. These numbers kind of fluctuate depending on those 22 days. If you see a property that's been sitting on for 70 plus days, most likely you're not going to be paying full asking price, right? So again, sellers, really important that you market the property. Everything is buttoned up on that side of the view. That way so you can keep those days on market down. You can get your full asking price. And buyers, if you're looking at a property that's really, really hot in the first 2 weeks, first 22 days or anything like that, in that kind of ballpark, you can expect to be paying at asking price, maybe even slightly a touch over. Okay, but buyers, there are some backdoor secrets, some tips of the trade that I like to use with some of my savvier clients who are looking for a lot of value and not having to deal with some of the competition that could be out there in the market. So if you guys want to hear more, please give me a call through 896-1871. Next thing we're going to look at is just the new listings that are coming up here in Long Beach. So we have 146 new homes that came on during this previous month. And that's a lot. That's a lot of inventory coming to the market. So there's a lot of single family homes for buyers to still look at. And for sellers, there's a lot of competition out there. So you got to make sure that your house really stands out amongst the crowd. And if we look at the amount of closed sales this past month, we had 145. So we're really kind of almost reaching an equilibrium with in terms of all the properties that come up. Most of them go in that first month. So when we look at months of supply, it'll give us an idea of how much current inventory we're actually seeing, and it's reflecting at 2.7. So 2.7 months of supply is really low. In a balanced market, we want to see anywhere between 3 to 6 months of supply, ideally around that 4.5 month mark. That would mean we're in an equilibrium between supply and demand. There's still not a whole lot of supply to go around in Long Beach, and it's starting to creep up, as we can see from this graph here. The months of supply are going to start to creep up. If we reach to, let's say, 3 months or 3.5 months, technically it would be a slightly balanced market, slightly onto the seller side because there's just not a whole lot of inventory still. We want to see, again, like I said, 4.5 months of supply. So buyers, keep that in mind. There's not a whole lot of properties out there. That's why the percentage of original list price is at 100%. These sellers are getting, for the most part, what they're asking for. So you have to kind of know that going into a property, that deals are few and far between, but there are some tricks. And sellers, just make sure your property is marketed correctly. Make sure your realtor is doing more than just putting a sign on the front yard, because that's the bare minimum in my opinion. And you should have no issue with selling or buying a property in Long Beach right now. So that's pretty good. I will keep you guys up to date on what happens next month. My name's Colton with eXp Realty. I hope you guys have a good rest of your month.